Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 1 review. Hello there, as fans repeated over again seeing Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen returning as Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader in the new Disney Plus series, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Although there wasn't much nostalgia or Easter eggs in the series, fans will be pleased to see other familiar faces like Jimmy Smits as Belle Organa, Joel Edgerton as Uncle Owen, Bonnie Pires as Aunt Beru, and some surprising cameos. The series is directed by Deborah Chow, who has directed 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. Despite the returning of some of the prequel's best actors and actresses, and a director with a popular Star Wars series already under the belt and some great moments, Obi-Wan Kenobi the series felt a little disappointing. 10 years has passed since the Jedi Purge in the Revenge of the Sith, where Obi-Wan suffers his biggest loss and made his greatest failure, the tragic fall of his best friend and former Jedi apprentice Anakin Skywalker, while the remaining Jedi and Force-sensitive inhabitants of the galaxy continue to hide from the cruelties of Order 66 and the rise of the Galactic Empire. Kenobi must reflect on his past and his action now that Anakin has gone to the dark side and manifests as the evil Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. By giving his character emotionally deep anguish and regret that perfectly depicts the trauma that an incident like Order 66 would create, McGregor absolutely nails it. With a personal guilt and utterly heartbreaking great loss, he is much more cynical than Luke Skywalker was in The Last Jedi, and McGregor perfectly captures both the despair and the pathway out of it. Hayden Christensen brilliantly slides into Anakin Skywalker between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith and a few flashbacks. He also gives a heartbreaking emotional scene as Darth Vader in the final episode, making one wish to see much more of him. Honorable mentions, although not featured much in the series, are Joel Edgerton and Bonnie Pires, who perfectly portrays Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Much like in the Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan does, for the most part, become a third wheel in his own show. This series quickly began to follow young Princess Leia and Reva, a female Inquisitor. Vivian Blair's performance as young Leia is quite good, though there was times she struggled with line delivery. Then there is Reva, portrayed by Moses Ingram. Reva character development and backstory was frankly bad. It provided nothing to the Obi-Wan story and felt unnecessary. Morrison Ingram won an award for Best Supporting Actress for The Queen's Gambit. However, her performance was like that of a high school or a college theater student. In recent interviews, series writer and executive producer Joby statements applies he had possibly never seen Revenge of the Sith. The Obi-Wan series is meant to be a direct sequel to the prequel movie. It was also revealed in those interviews Hera had to ask Apollo Hidalgo many questions on simple Star Wars facts. Hera also claimed he never broke canon or wasn't inconsistent. However, there are many moments throughout the series that prove otherwise. It is clear that the script was the weakest part of the series. After correcting 2 of the best episodes in Season 1 of The Mandalorian, Deborah Chow returns to the Star Wars universe as the series director. Joining the crew is cinematographer Chung Hu, I think that's how you pronounce it, hopefully, who worked with directors like Park Chan-wook and Lee Chong-ik. Again, I hope I'm saying that right. So it's unfortunate to see that these creators had such a great track record, though the series fell a bit short. There was great moments throughout the series, however, for a show that was supposed to be the last entry into the Skywalker saga, it just didn't cut it. Chow revealed she chose Chung because he had done things that were smaller, that was emotionally intense, with a strong visual identity. Chung's visual identity would have been perfect as a character-driven story like the movie Logan and the Obi-Wan Kenobi's original script by Jose Amamin. Again, I hope I'm saying these words right, and I do apologize if I'm not. Obi-Wan Kenobi bridges the gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope to nothing more than a fairly decent result, bookended by powerful openings and closing chapters. A dramatic final deserving a mission in the canon of great Star Wars moments is reached after a problematic middle half of the show, which was only passable given McGregor's emotionally intense performance. It is a nice addition to the ever-expanding Star Wars mythology, even though the action alternates between being repetitive and thrilling, and the poor script leaves so much to be desired in so many places. Alright, if you're new here, this is where we typically start going to more in-depth and spoilers. So you haven't seen the movie and the show yet, make sure you like and subscribe before you leave. And thank you for watching my videos, and check out some of the links in the description for some cool stuff like my Star Wars fan comic Kira, A Star Wars Story. So yeah, for the most part I did enjoy this series, but it should have been just so much better. Like, they should have been really working hard to make sure this was one of the best things out there, and I just think it just fell a little short. I think the biggest problem was the script. You guys gotta go and read those interviews with Joe Heron and stuff. Like, it just seems like he doesn't really know much about Star Wars to begin with, and trying to make up excuses for his baddest scripts. And one of the main problems about Hollywood is that people just not admitting they was wrong. And looking back at some of his other movies and TV shows that he did, it's like, how are you keep getting jobs? Because none of them was all that great. Like, the only one I would say anything was Army of the Dead with Zack Snyder, and really that movie, the weakest part was the script. I mean, just again, like, every one of his movies he has done, the weakest part is his script. And the whole thing with, like, in the trailers, we did not see hardly at all Princess Leia. And then by the end of episode 2 or beginning of episode 3, Obi-Wan has to go and rescue Han. And then we pretty much following Han, Obi-Wan, as well as Reva. And yeah, it is wrong. So many people sent Moses Ingram racist messages on Instagram and stuff, but still, like, I watched the whole series. We got her whole backstories, her whole character development, and frankly, it just was bad. And I don't think her performance was all that great. Based off of this, her performance here, I just don't understand how she could have won an award for best acting. Like, she just cried way too hard, and her performance a lot of times was way over top. Like, much like that overacting you gotta do in theater kind of stuff, and I just didn't understand. But yeah, like, Hollywood continues to, make a story, like Obi-Wan, like, hey, this is all about Obi-Wan, and then turn it into something else, like a story about Princess Leia, a story about Reva. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with this series, is that it did not focus on Obi-Wan enough. They basically had like 3 different stories going on at the exact same time. You have the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, you have the Adventures of Young Leia series, you have Reva, the Inquisitor series, going in the exact same series as Obi-Wan. And it's like, maybe they, created those things, made those separate series. Maybe people will like it a little bit better. Maybe it gives more time to develop Reva's character and backstory. But the backstory they gave was just god awful. It's like, it made no sense that, okay, yeah, Anakin came in, killed all your friends. She was a youngling, killed all her friends, stabbed Han, and somehow she lived through that. And now she spent the next 10 years being trained under Darth Vader as a Jedi hunter or a Jedi assassin called an Inquisitor, so that she can get close to Darth Vader to kill him. 10 years, mind you, 10 years working under Darth Vader and being trained by Darth Vader to hunt down Jedi. And then what she does nothing to trying to, kill Darth Vader. She goes out there with all the other Inquisitors killing Jedis and stuff. It's like, wait a minute, you are pissed off at Anakin or Darth Vader for killing the Jedis and your friends, and so you go out there and kill more Jedis? How does that make sense? Then at the end, she finds out that Anakin Skywalker had a son, Luke Skywalker. So she goes out there to go and kill him, an innocent child. And how does that all make sense? Again, she doing this for 10 years. And throughout the series, there's multiple times she was alone with Darth Vader and could easily got the upper hand. Well, probably not would be easy, because when she finally did, Darth Vader pretty much took her out, hardly even using his lightsaber at all, to the very end. Then he finally stabs him, and that was it. And then she lives through that. She got stabbed twice by Anakin Darth Vader and still lived. So I guess Qui-Gon is the only person to actually get killed by a lightsaber. The whole character to me was just bad, and I think if we had our own series about Reva and had 6 episodes that each one is almost an hour long, maybe they can flesh it out much more. But we didn't. We had 2 other stories that we had to tell, which are Obi-Wan and Princess Leia. And I didn't mind the Princess Leia stuff. Like, I thought the actress was not bad and portraying Princess Leia, and like there was a few times, like I said, that she struggled with some of her lines, but for the most part I actually thought she was good. And by the time you get to the end of the series, you can see her kind of changing into the Princess Leia that is, the strong, fearless Princess Leia we know in A New Hope, in the original trilogy. So I think if they make a series about Hong and they bring him back, I think it would be fine. Yeah, again, going back to the script, it just, like, they talked about how it was going to be a character-driven piece, much like Logan and the Joker, but apparently when they stopped development on it and changed and brought in Harold into it to rewrite the script, that's when all this stuff changed into being more Princess Leia and Reva and all that crap. To me, I think they should have just stayed with it. Like I said, the cinematographer, his background is perfect for that. And I think that where Deborah Chow did a great job. Like she said that his style and stuff is great for him, emotionally intense, scenes. And I'm a huge fan of Park Chan-wook, and I agree. I think the cinematographer was the perfect guy for this job, when it was supposed to been a character driven story. But then Joby Harold changed the original script from a character driven. It's like you should stick with what the other guy had. Now I can't remember his name now, but I don't know, this series just felt like it should been so much more It should only focus on Obi-Wan and his struggle of what happened with Anakin and what happened to the Jedi and stuff from Revenge of the Sith. There was a fan film, I think it was just called Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it did exactly that. Like, it's so funny, like the Halo thing, is that fan films are doing much better at creating these stories than what the Hollywood studios with professional creators and writers and visionaries are doing. It just, I'm getting tired of Hollywood, hiring, especially Lucasfilm, hiring people that don't know anything about Star Wars to write Star Wars content, to create Star Wars things. Again, like, I think a lot of people are putting a lot of blame on Deborah Chow, but I don't think it's really all her fault. I think she's just more of a director instead of like a writer and stuff. And like, there's a lot of directors out there like that. They're more just a director instead of writer, so therefore they don't really change much to the writing and stuff. And Joby Heron was also executive producer, so he probably was one of the main showrunners and probably was her boss, so she probably had to do that. Going back to the story here, what really sucked about how this series ended is that most likely we ain't gonna see Luke Skywalker again. Probably won't see Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, and like I said, I thought their portrayal as those characters was great. What I imagine what Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru as these 30-year-old, maybe middle-aged people now, that's exactly how I picture them. How Joe Egerton and Bonnie Please portrayed it as, and I kind of wish we saw more of them, particularly Luke Skywalker. To me, the story could have been more about kind of boring, it all being on Tatooine and stuff, especially right after the book of Boba Fett was all on Tatooine. That one could have easily been changed to something else. There was no reason why he had to go back to Tatooine. But what they could have done, and they want to keep with one of the Skywalker children being kidnapped, they could have Luke being kidnapped, had Obi-Wan and Uncle Owen having to team up to go and save him. Throughout, Obi-Wan has to still hide from, the Empire and the Inquisitors and stuff. But just don't use Reva. We didn't need a backstory for the Inquisitors. We just need them to be a mini boss, and then at the very end, we finally get to meet Darth Vader. Uncle Owen, Luke is escaping. Obi-Wan stays behind to face Darth Vader so that they can escape. Therefore, because Luke never seen a lightsaber before, he never seen Darth Vader before, so that could have worked. The story wouldn't be so inconsistent from the original trilogy, like how them having him go rescue Leia, who in A New Hope made it sound like she really never met Obi-Wan before. She was just doing what her father told him, like, hey, go seek out the help my friend Obi-Wan and bring him here. But yeah, like I said, there was some great moments in this series. Like, all the lightsaber stuff was actually quite good, and Darth Vader was like a total badass, like Rogue One ending scene badass. But yeah, there are moments in this that was great. The script was so bad. Reva was pointless. It focused too much on Leia, and to me, I felt like Leia's story could have been in season 2 of Obi-Wan, and we should have gotten what I said about Luke Skywalker in season 1. If there is a season 2, I would try to at least watch it, but I kind of lost hope with Star Wars so long ago, and every time this was the one series that was going to bring my faith back into Star Wars, and it didn't really do that. So did you all like it? What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? What did you think the story should have been about? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe, and check out my Star Wars fan comic, Kira, A Star Wars Story, and I see you guys next time. Bye.